Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another Genshin Impact video, and today we're going to be covering all the mini games and little challenges that you can encounter in the land of Inazuma. Some of these can be a bit tricky. I'll be going over, there's about 3 or 4 of them, different ones that you can actually encounter on repeat. I won't be going over the challenges that you'll have to just do once, so some of these actually, or one of these, sorry, comes into play in the third zone of Inazuma, like the far left zone. I won't be covering that because you only really encounter it once. The ones that I'm going to cover are just the common ones that you'll encounter that you need to do on repeat a fair few times. A basic part of the mini games inside of the land of Inazuma actually is this little thing here called this Electrogranum. This may seem like it only acts for the tethers, but this actually has a fair few more purposes. So its first purpose would be when you interact with it, you actually get these tethers that are summoned here that let you press T on keyboard, I'm not sure on console, but it lets you tether to these things here that propels you up into the sky. Its second use, which is a bit more important, I'd say, is when you interact with these, you summon the Electrogranum, obviously, but that lets you enter these electric spheres here. And this is the only way to actually enter these electric spheres. When you actually get to the center here with the Electrogranum, it does like cancel the whole sphere for a fair bit of time. I'm not exactly sure how long, maybe a few seconds. But after a while, the sphere actually will appear again. I think maybe you have to leave the area. But to actually enter the electric domes, you need to interact and have this little purple thing floating around you called the Electrogranum. That is the only way to enter these. This one isn't really worth mentioning too much, but there is a different type of Seelie added to the game. It's the Electro Seelie, and this one behaves slightly differently compared to the other two, where you just follow the other two around very slowly. This one, when you interact with it here, it zip-zap-zops around the map until it goes to a different location. You see it down there. And when you jump down to it, you have to obviously just follow it, but because it does travel a bit faster, it is a bit more difficult to actually catch. And whenever we can summon our Wave Rider, we'll just do this as quickly as possible here. Picking up all the loots, zip-zap-zops around, going along all the way, but it does act exactly like all the other Seelie. When you get to its location, it does just drop a chest, and it's nice and simple. There you go, that's the Electro Seelie, nothing too much to worry about. And this one isn't so much a challenge as it is a little gathering task, but there are little shrines, like the shrines from Liyue and Mondstadt, around Inazuma. Shrine of the Depth for Inazuma, that is. These shrines are scattered around the map as the previous ones were, and the way to get the keys in this one is you have 2 reputations, let's call them. You have the Great Narukami Shrine, you have the actual Archon waypoints where you need the Electroculus, link to that video down in the description. And you also do have the actual reputation for Inazuma City. When you get to Kamisato Estate, you have the Yashiro Commission staff. You have 3 reputations, actually, I said 2. You actually have 3 kind of reputation-like things where you can get the keys from. I assume you might be able to get them from the Kamisato thing, but that one's not guaranteed. So the first mini game that we're going to be looking at here is the Relay Stone little mini game that you'll see here. As you travel in the world, you'll actually encounter these. They're just like beams of light connected to relay stones, and these are just weird pylons. Pretty much what you have to do for these is, when you see one of these, this is the first thing you'll see is the massive lightning tether, and the one that's shining like this is the starting point, and you want to connect it to another one that looks like this. It looks slightly smaller than the original over there. This one has a smaller crystal here, but it's not glowing and has no tether. In the general area, you'll find maybe some relay stones that you can pick up. When you pick these up, you'll just have to see at the bottom screen there next to your skill, it says T to place down, and when you place it down somewhere, it'll connect to another, it will connect from here to here and to anything else that actually has a lightning attribute. Obviously, when you move out of the area too much, the actual position of the relay stone will disappear, and so go back to where you picked it up from and you can pick it up again. As a quick reference point, the relay stones do channel the electricity like that, but if you do have a character like Beidou, and I think Beidou is the only character that can do it right now just naturally, if you actually just stand with her and use her E ability, she will actually also channel the lightning. This is actually crucial for some of the mini games a bit later on in terms of the islands. If you go to further points and more difficult challenges, you actually do need to use Beidou specifically. But the gist is simple. You look for a good point as to where it would connect to that. You connect it. It has to hold for a few seconds there to like trigger it, and then you'll get a chest at the end. And that is pretty much the relay stone mini game. Some of them can be a bit more difficult, where you have to connect multiple different channels in multiple different angles, but obviously through a bit of you know, thinking and a bit of you know, theorizing, you'll be able to figure it out easy. And so here's an example of a pretty difficult one. So this is located just here, right next to pretty much the starting waypoint or starting area, just on top of this little ridge. And this one's pretty difficult. I did struggle on this one when I first did it on my first account, but the general gist of it is you have two different starting points. So you have a starting point here, which is this one, and then you have a starting point over here, and then you have to charge up this one using two of them. How you can tell that you need two is that it has two of these little side things on it. And so it's not too difficult. It's a bit about spacing and positioning of the relay stones. You can just chuck one here, chuck one there. That powers that up. And this is also one of those situations where I'm pretty sure you need a Beto. So you obviously get into position like that, and then there you go. I did get the positioning slightly wrong there, but you know, obviously through a bit of tweaking and you get a bit of positioning done correctly, you unlock the chest like that. And this is an example of one of the more difficult ones where you have to do a bit better at positions and whatnot. Another one of the mini games you can encounter in the world is, I don't know really what to call these. I'll let's say call them the light up the cubes mini game. I'm not really sure, but they look like something like this. You'll encounter an array of cubes that have 3 leaves on the front of them that light up in different ways. And the general gist of this is you have to make all the cubes have the same amount of lit up flowers or leaves or whatever you want to call them. You don't exactly have to get them all to light up to 3. You just have to have them all at the same amount lit up. So through a bit of you know, mathematics, I guess, you just go along. That one has, these have 3, that one has 1. If I hit this one, it'll get the thing done because they all have 1 lit up. This is a pretty difficult one depending on how many you actually have to deal with. You might have 3, you might have 4, and sometimes you might even have 5 that you have to get into the correct amount of lit up. But through a bit of, again, theory crafting or theorizing and just playing around, you'll be able to easily figure it out. And for another example of the light up the cubes challenge, this is the one where you have to light up the little feathers here. This is a bit of a difficult one. It looks, at least there's 4 different pillars that you have to light up here, or 4 different little cubes. And so if we shoot this one, does that one change? Of course it does. So this one can be a bit more difficult seeing as there's 4, but let's not worry too much, as I'll try to swiftly figure it out. I don't even think I have to charge up the shot. There's 3 there, 2 there. Yep, okay, figured it out. There, those 3 are on 1, and then we shoot this one twice, and they jump up to 3. They're all on 3, and there you go, that's the chest. So that's the light up the cubes challenge, as I call it. I don't even know what to call it. Light up the cubes. Another challenge, or another mini game that you'll encounter at some points in the world, is another cube-like challenge. Now, don't mistake this one like the light up cube challenge. This is a bit different. For this one, actually, you just have to, I suggest a range character. And what you have to do for this one is just shoot the actual cubes here until they all face the same direction. You don't actually have to light these ones up. You just have to shoot them until they face the same direction. Now, the difficult part about this is that you shoot specific ones, other ones turn around. So it can be a bit difficult in getting the correct alignment, because that one turns that one, this one here turns those 2. But through a bit of, oops, okay, that was bad. Okay, I'm messing up. Maybe if I get those 2 at the same, and then I think that's, nope, that's wrong. Wait, there we go, got it. So it's a fairly difficult one because there's specific ones like this where they are shooting one turns another, but overall, again, not too difficult, did figure it out pretty quickly. But I'm going to call this one the Turn the Cubes challenge. Let's go. Here's another example of one of those turny cube challenges here. Obviously shooting one, only turns one in this example though, so this one is ever so slightly easier. But this is just another example that you might encounter in the world. This one is very easy. There you go. And as per usual, there will be a bunch of these challenge nodes where it's a little red floating thing on a pylon, be it like this one where it's a kill challenge, if there's a time challenge where you have to gather a certain amount of things in a certain amount of time, or it's a shooting challenge where you need to shoot explosive barrels within a certain amount of time. There will be a bunch of these scattered across the map. I don't have their locations exactly, but there's a lot of them per area. And that was all the challenges that I could find. Again, this is all the basic challenges, nothing too extreme. You'll encounter many of these throughout the whole world, and hopefully I showcased them off well enough. Some of them weren't too difficult, and some of them were a bit harder than I anticipated, especially the Turn the Cubes, that's a bit hard. But hopefully I got the point across of what you have to do for each challenge, and how to complete each challenge when you encounter them. I definitely do know for a fact there are very hard ones if you go further into the actual map towards the left side, but hopefully you guys do figure it out. I wish you best of luck with that. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, and if you enjoy this type of content and if it was helpful, hit that subscribe button. I'd like to say massive thanks for the support on the previous video, the Electroculus video. I'll leave a link to it down in the description because it is quite a helpful video in knowing the locations of all the Electroculus. But I'd like to say again a massive thanks for the support on that. I did miss out a fair few locations for the Electroculus, and I do apologize for that. Some of them are a bit more tricky to do, and I did want to just cover the ones that you can get as soon as possible. No real kind of gating between them, no quest gating, no nothing. I just wanted to get across all the ones that you can get as soon as possible. Hopefully it did help, and hopefully this video also helps. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, guys, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.